Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Imagine spending hundreds of millions of dollars on a mission that disappears because of one tiny mistake. It sounds impossible, but it actually happened. This is the unbelievable story of NASA's Mars Climate Orbiter, one of the most expensive engineering failures in history. The year was 1999. NASA had one clear goal: study the atmosphere of Mars and unlock new secrets about the red planet. Scientists and engineers had spent years designing the spacecraft. Every system was tested. Every calculation was reviewed. After years of preparation, launch day finally arrived. The countdown reached 0. Engines ignited. The rocket lifted off, leaving Earth behind and beginning a journey of more than 400 million kilometers. Inside Mission Control, everyone celebrated. The launch was perfect. Over the next several months, the spacecraft traveled silently through deep space. Small engine burns kept it on course. Every signal reaching Earth confirmed that everything was working exactly as planned. Confidence inside NASA continued to grow. As the spacecraft approached Mars, the most critical moment of the mission arrived. It needed to enter orbit at exactly the right altitude. Too high, and it would miss the planet. Too low, and it could be destroyed. Mission Control prepared for orbit insertion. Engineers watched every number on their screens. The entire world waited for confirmation. Something unexpected happened. The spacecraft didn't follow the predicted path. Its trajectory slowly drifted away from the planned orbit. At first, the difference seemed tiny, almost impossible to notice. But in space, even the smallest error grows with distance. Within minutes, the spacecraft moved dangerously close to Mars. Communication signals became weaker and weaker until they disappeared completely. Mission Control called the spacecraft again and again. There was only silence. A mission worth hundreds of millions of dollars had vanished. No explosion, no warning, no final message. Just silence. How could one of the world's most advanced space agencies lose an entire spacecraft? Was it a software bug, a hardware failure, or something even more unbelievable? The investigation that followed shocked engineers around the world because the real reason was far simpler than anyone could have imagined. The investigation began immediately. At first, NASA engineers believed the spacecraft had suffered a mechanical failure. Every computer log was examined. Every command sent to the spacecraft was reviewed. Teams worked day and night, searching for even the smallest clue. Days later, investigators discovered something no one expected. The spacecraft itself wasn't broken. The engines had worked. The computers had worked. The communication system had worked. The real problem was hidden inside the navigation calculations. One engineering team created data using the metric system, where force is measured in newtons. Another team produced navigation data using the imperial system, where force is measured in pound-force. Both teams believed they were using the correct units. But no one noticed they were speaking two different mathematical languages. The navigation software accepted the numbers without realizing they were in the wrong units. Every small engine correction became slightly inaccurate. The error was tiny, so small that nobody could see it during the journey. But space is unforgiving. A mistake of only a few numbers slowly grew larger with every passing day. Every correction pushed the spacecraft a little farther away from its planned path. After traveling hundreds of millions of kilometers, that tiny difference became enormous. Instead of entering orbit about 150 kilometers above Mars, the spacecraft flew far lower than expected. Within moments, it entered the upper atmosphere of Mars at the wrong altitude. The spacecraft was either destroyed by atmospheric forces or escaped into deep space forever. NASA never heard from it again. One simple unit conversion, one missing verification, one small mistake had erased years of work. The total cost of the mission was around $327 million. But the biggest loss wasn't the money. Scientists lost valuable research that could have helped us understand the Martian atmosphere years earlier. The entire engineering community was stunned. How could such a simple mistake defeat one of the world's most advanced space agencies? The answer would completely change the way future space missions were designed. After the investigation was complete, NASA faced a difficult question. How could they make sure this would never happen again? The answer wasn't to build a better spacecraft. It was to build a better system. Engineers introduced multiple layers of verification. Every calculation had to be checked by different teams. Every software update had to be reviewed before it could be approved. Mission data was compared again and again to make sure every unit matched perfectly. Communication between engineering teams also changed. Small assumptions were no longer accepted. Every value, every command, and every measurement had to be clearly documented. The lessons from Mars Climate Orbiter quickly spread throughout the aerospace industry. Future Mars missions used much stricter verification procedures. And the results were remarkable. NASA successfully sent new orbiters to Mars. Powerful rovers explored the Martian surface for years. They discovered ancient riverbeds, evidence of water, and valuable information about the planet's history. Every successful mission carried a lesson learned from one painful failure. Mars Climate Orbiter may have been lost, but it changed the future of space exploration forever. Sometimes failure becomes the FOUNDATIONOFSUCCESS. Sometimes one mistake teaches more than 100 perfect missions. The universe demands absolute precision. It doesn't matter how advanced your technology is. It doesn't matter how much money you spend. If one tiny detail is wrong, the entire mission can disappear in seconds. That is why engineers around the world still study the Mars Climate Orbiter today. Not to remember a failure, but to remember the lesson that made future missions safer than ever before. Today, more than 2 decades later, the story of Mars Climate Orbiter is still taught in universities, engineering schools, and space agencies around the world. Not because it was a successful mission, but because it proved that even the smallest mistake can have enormous consequences. Think about it. A spacecraft traveled hundreds of millions of kilometers through space. Its engines worked. Its computers worked. Its communication system worked. Almost everything went exactly as planned. Yet one simple mismatch between measurement units changed the outcome of the entire mission. That is why every modern space mission now follows much stricter engineering standards. Multiple teams verify every calculation. Advanced software automatically checks for unit mismatches. Engineers review the same data again and again before a spacecraft ever leaves Earth. The loss of Mars Climate Orbiter was painful, but the lessons it taught made future missions stronger, safer, and far more reliable. Today, orbiters circle Mars. Rovers explore its surface. Landers study its rocks and atmosphere. Each new discovery is built on lessons learned from missions that came before. Space exploration has never been easy. Every launch is a risk. Every mission pushes human knowledge beyond its limits. Success inspires the world, but failure often teaches the greatest lessons. Mars Climate Orbiter reminds us that precision is everything. In space, there are no second chances. Every number matters. Every calculation matters. Every decision matters. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of this incredible story. Sometimes, history isn't changed by a massive explosion, or a giant asteroid, or a powerful rocket. Sometimes, history is changed by a single number. Before you leave, here's one final thought. The Mars Climate Orbiter wasn't destroyed because NASA lacked intelligence. It wasn't lost because engineers didn't work hard enough. It was lost because one small detail was overlooked. That single mistake became one of the most important lessons in the history of engineering. Today, every successful mission to Mars carries that lesson forward. Every spacecraft, every rover, every orbiter is a reminder that progress is built not only on success, but also on failure. The universe is incredibly beautiful, but it is also unforgiving. It doesn't forgive shortcuts. It doesn't forgive assumptions. It only rewards precision, patience, and teamwork. So the next time you hear about a successful mission to Mars, remember the spacecraft that never made it. Because without the failure of Mars Climate Orbiter, many of today's greatest achievements in space exploration might never have happened. What do you think? Was this the most expensive engineering mistake in history? Or do you know another mission with an even more unbelievable story? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to 0 Hour for more incredible stories about space, science, technology, and the mysteries of our universe. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep looking up.